Hey everyone, another day, another handheld, with this one being the retail version, the Odin 2 Mini. Following on from the success of the Odin 2 last year, the Odin 2 Mini is, as the name suggests, a smaller variant of the Odin 2. It comes with a smaller PlayStation Vita-like form factor this time, alongside a smaller screen, smaller battery, but a slightly bigger price tag, with the Odin 2 Mini starting off at $339 for its base model, with its 8GB of RAM and 128GB of inbuilt storage, all the way up to $399 for its Pro model, which has 12GB of RAM and 256GB of inbuilt storage. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you've always wanted an Odin 2, but just smaller, I now have you covered. So a big thank you for all of you that have stuck with me to move on to the specs. In terms of raw power, the Odin 2 Mini matches its bigger brother, has the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 CPU, which gives us access to all the higher end emulation in Android, as does the RAM options, which start at 8GB and goes all the way up to 12GB with the Pro model. One of the most notable differences is the 5-inch 1080p screen, which features the first mini LED panel featured in a handheld gaming device. This mini LED is overall good, but it is hard to avoid mention of its halo effect and vignetting. Vignetting, where the centre of the screen is shades darker than the edges of the screen. I personally don't really notice this in game, and the halo effect where isolated bright objects kind of bleed into any of the dark surrounding edges, the brighter settings, or awkward viewing angles, but again, in actual gameplay isn't too distracting for me personally. Battery life is another trade-off with the Mini's more portable nature, with it being reduced to a still respectable 5000 mAh battery. This isn't bad by any means, and only is a negative when directly comparing it to its bigger brother, where I've gotten anywhere between a really rough 30 to 40% negative difference when comparing it to the full-on bigger Odin 2, and this is when pushed to the higher end of emulation options in Android. Overall though, the Odin 2 Mini is still one of the most powerful Android gaming handhelds out there, and is certainly the most portable, though the most affordable option still stands with the original Odin 2. First impressions of the Odin 2 Mini are incredibly good. The white model, in my opinion, looks absolutely amazing, with the only real minor points being that the bubble effect buttons and D-pad, which I personally would prefer just a solid colour here. Otherwise, the Vita style has been pulled off to an incredibly high standard throughout, with a micro SD card behind a pull-up tab, a micro HDMI port, volume buttons, LED indicator and power button being the only I/O on top, and just a USB-C charging port and headphone jack underneath, which keeps things looking super tidy. On the back, we've got some little anti-slip grips on the edges, the fan inlet and outlet too. One of the minor points of having so much power in such a small package is that the fan will have to do a lot of work when pushing the handheld to its max. So the fan is audible and the handheld can get warm when pushed. This is warm and not hot to the touch, but it is ultimately one of those points to be aware of. In terms of controls is where the Odin 2 alters from its Vita inspirations, with the control layout being more Xbox than PlayStation. We do have Hall effect joysticks, which are fantastic, with a strong range of movement and pretty tight controls throughout, despite the small frame. The D-pad is very good, with incredible accuracy in all directions and a very soft click to its press. It has a very nice pivot to it, which makes pulling off precise input very easy. Likewise, the buttons feel really premium, they're really responsive and can handle both precise input or button mashing with ease. The shoulder buttons are good as well, with easy button presses no matter where or how you press them, even around the edges, which we always love to see. The shoulder triggers are fully analog with a good but surprisingly large range of motion despite their size. I thought they'd be a lot more restrictive, but are arguably the best in this form factor I've used. So, overall, absolutely fantastic controls with very little compromises. The Odin 2 Mini comes out of the box with Android 13, so in lieu of a firmware overview, I'll just cut straight to some gaming emulation before summing up at the end.
personnel, please report to lifeboats. Lifeboats unavailable in this area. Please proceed to the engineering deck bays. Thank you for your cooperation.
So, all in all, the Odin 2 Mini has a couple of quirks and compromises, mainly due to it being mini in the first place, but it's still so easy to recommend. With some fantastic controls, lots of power, and a small footprint if you want a small but powerful Android handheld, then you've definitely got the Odin 2 Mini. And for a bigger footprint, you've got the Odin 2. That's it for now though. Thanks so much for watching.